So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third in our CEO conversation series. It's been a little while since we've been together, but we are finding our way back to in-person meetings and events. It's been a wonderful summer so far, but we do realize that sometimes there's great efficiency and opportunity when we can get together for a virtual meeting, and this is one of those times. Jason is a good friend and a longtime businessman here in Venango County. And I asked him to just sit down with me for a few minutes and update us on Witherup Fabrication, of which he is one of the owners, and just give us a little, maybe a little history, but also some update on what's going on in his business right now. I think it's really, really important for us all to have a good pulse on who's doing business in our region. There's a lot to be excited about, certainly be encouraged about with what's going on in business. So just join me for, again, and just an easy conversation with Jason about what's going on at Witherup. So Jason, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Susan. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start off with you just telling us, I'm sure most of those who are listening today have heard of Witherup, but they may not know exactly what you do and how long you've been doing it. Can you kind of give us the nickel tour of what's going on at Witherup and what it is you do day to day there?
Okay, certainly. We're a tank manufacturer here in Venango County, but a lot of our work is outside of the county. And, probably 30, 40 years ago, a lot of our work was what you saw up at the tanks at the Pennzoil Refinery in Rouseville. Since then, we've reached out to a lot of different areas and a lot of different industries and, work all, I guess, in the middle of, in the eastern U.S. Where we can. We try to stay local, but we do a lot of work where we manufacture here in Kennerdell and ship everything out to the site and fabricate on site for our customers. But we've been in business a little bit over 60 years. It started primarily, as a family-ran business, and their primary business back then was developing water systems in the state of West Virginia. A lot of those municipalities didn't have drinking water, and Witherup's cleared sites, built foundations on top of mountains, and built water tanks for those municipals. Since then, most areas around here have water. We don't do that anymore, but we've grown into different industries and, probably a lot into water treatment and a lot of chemical plants, a lot of refineries. Anywhere we can have a niche to get into and do repeat work. So just kind of an overview of what we do.
Yeah, great. Well, that just understanding that history is in water is really interesting and important to me, as we've studied in leadership the importance of good water in communities, how critical it is. So knowing that your roots are there is, maybe says something about, why you've continued to be in business and the basis of what you were built on. So you've been in business a long time. Tell me how that's worked for you, what's allowed you to grow and stay in business and do what you do today. What do you think the strength of Witherup's has been?
I think it is our repeat customers. We bid stuff every day with the folks we never worked with, but probably 60 or 70% of our business is repeat customers. And it's really just providing value to them and being able to service them when they need, and help them on their repairs or their new work. But we're always looking at that new job that we've never worked with somebody, how to turn them into a repeat customer and grow with them to take that. I would think in our industry, we have union boilermakers that work for us out in the field, and we do certain things above and beyond what the union requires as far as pay incentives and employee retention. So all of our field foremen, whether we have worked for them or not, they're on our payroll and they work for us, and we don't lose them to one of our competitors. And then a lot of our field guys, they come and go to different jobs in the industry, but because of different incentives that we offer, they're quick to come back to our jobs, and therefore we have kind of I guess a group of boilermakers that are experienced and proven in the industry that are working for us on a normal basis, where some of our competitors might not have that advantage, and they're just hiring directly out of the hall and hiring a Boilermaker with less experience. You know, we do not send inexperienced workers out to the job site just to get a job done. It's not going to work. You know, it's not going to work. And it's just not going to, the customer's not going to be happy. They're not going to think a lot of our work is going to look like we're just trying to cut corners.
Yeah, I'm so glad you talked about that. You and I in preparation talked a little bit about work culture and what it takes to, you know, to really develop places that people want to work and want to stay working. And so I'm so proud when I hear of our members, our local businesses that really value their employees like you do. I mean, I think that's the key. That's the key to keeping and attracting good employees.
You know, without our key foremen, we want to do the business we are. You know, they're basically the boss of their crew, but you know, we need those guys, and then they need us. But you know, and we'll do everything we can to keep them, to make us look more attractive. And you know, a lot of our competitors would like to grab those guys. You know, we're going to keep them there with us.
Well, how many employees do you currently have over your whole group there at Witherup?
We probably have right now. We probably have around 40, and I'll kind of break that down. It's we have 10 in our office, which is all the administrative, the quality, the engineering, the drafting, you know, everything behind the scenes in the office. And then right now we have right around 10 in our shop. We've maintained that work level for the last few years. You know, probably 3 or 4 years ago we were busier and we had closer to 20 folks in our shop, but we really try not to hire and lay off and go through that exercise in our shop. We try to keep the guys there and not change our workforce in the shop based on the jobs. If we got to do a better job planning and maybe work overtime so we're not hiring and laying off. We don't like doing that. Out in the field, we have right now about 20 folks working for us, and they come and go. As we have a job for 3 weeks, you know, those guys will go there and work for 3 weeks, and then they might sit for a week or two until the next job. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's been a little slow lately. But you know, we try to shuffle the work around our key guys and share that work. Are they all working, you know, 6-10 hour days, you know, for the last 12 months? Absolutely not. You know, with what happened in the economy, it hit us, and we're doing what we can to get through it. But you know, right now we have 40 employees. 2 or 3 years ago, we probably had 60 or 70 employees. You know, but we can hire out in the field, out of the hall. The folks that I told you that we don't keep on a normal basis, when we get busy, there's times when we go get those folks and put them around our other folks. But they're there. We might have inexperienced folks work with our experienced folks to get jobs done.
Right. Well, you and I didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I know I don't think you're quite as old as me, but you're old enough to remember that the way things were, you know, maybe 30 years ago when we started working, maybe a little longer ago for me, a lot has changed in the work environment. I've often said, well, we wouldn't have asked for the kind of flexibility, you know, 30, 40 years ago that we see employees have now. How has that worked? Have you been able, it sounds like you've been able to be pretty nimble in working with your employees and kind of work with them. Have you seen much change in how you interact with employees and their, you know, how they want to work over the years?
Not really. I mean, we're all, you know, not so much. You know, I would think that most of our employees, you know, they're pretty consistent folks. They've always worked hard and expect a lot out of themselves. You know, and I think our core folks, you couldn't find a better group. And the values that were embedded in them 20 years ago, they still carry forward today.
Yeah, so that says a lot for the business and the way you've had standards.
And it does. And the younger folks, they might have a tough time adjusting to that work culture, and some of them don't make it. Yeah. You know, that's what it boils down to. But you know, out in the field, you know, those field foremen are in charge, and being late is not an option. Not passing a drug test is not an option. You know, it just doesn't work. You know, we work safely. We don't work them too hard. You know, we value heat and safety, you know, for work conditions. But you know, those foremen expect a lot out of those folks to get the job done. You know, and I think that, you know, it's that generation that needs to pass that on to the younger generation so we can maintain that work culture.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the rewards are good for them there as they learn and grow into that culture. Do you see, you know, even if whether are going to grow or you have change through attrition, do you expect, if someone thought, boy, I think I'd like to work for Witherup in the future, who is best suited to work for your company? What kind of, does somebody need training, or are you just looking for, really dedicated workers? Are there opportunities in your shop now or in the future?
Right now, absolutely not. But hopefully in the next 6 months or a year, we'll be sitting in a different position. But the last year and a half was kind of rough on our backlog and keeping things going. But we're going to get things going again. And yes, we work a lot with the folks at the local VOTEC.
Oh, great.
We get a lot of, over the years, we've got a lot of great young men that have came from VOTEC out of the welding program and, through co-op, and then folks that came in and worked directly for us. And, the administration up there will give us referrals for people out of the program, and those referrals are wonderful. They know what we expect out of our employees, and they send those type of folks to us.
That's a great testimony for our technical schools. We've been hearing it. We hear all the time that those are great careers. So just knowing that, again, even if there's not an opportunity today, things happen, and that's a great way to prepare for work in your industry, if not directly for Witherup, but for you and people in your industry.
Yeah, I mean, we support them and they support us. I mean, we'll do anything we can to help the VOTEC program, and therefore, they're just like any other employer in the county. I'm sure that the VOTEC is going to reach out to them because it works great for both the business and the school.
Yeah, great. Well, you don't make it 60 years without having some challenges too. So I'm sure that there's things that you've had to face over the years. How have you faced challenges? What are some of the things that you've been able to overcome to stick around for so long?
Probably our biggest challenge, since, we bought into the business in 2014. And, since then, we've added a fair amount of overhead in our office. Back in 20, 30 years ago, you went out and built a steel tank and you got the tangible product delivered to the customer and everything was good. Today you cannot just go out and start throwing steel around and building a tank without doing a lot of upfront work, on the safety side, documentation, procedure side, and as far as document control, there's just a lot more paperwork and detail that has to go with our work. Since I've joined the company, we've added a full-time safety director and a full-time certified welder inspector, and that's good and bad. That's more overhead dollars. For when we're slow, it's overhead dollars that we have to cover. But then on the good side of it, it keeps us competitive. We can go out and bid jobs that this business couldn't have done 10 or 20 years ago because we have the expertise in our office to go after that work. So I think it's given us more opportunities. If you look at the positive side of it, we've gained a lot more knowledge in our office as far as human experience, but and it's helped us get in with certain customers and grow with them because the demands of the job are so much more.
Yeah. Well, your commitment to keeping people safe and following those rules. I know rules can be hard, but I know I'm a little bit of a rule follower. Just tell me what I got to do. try to do it, but it keeps me rolling along. I did mention that you are one of the co-owners of Witherup. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey to Witherup, what role you play there, and what what you've enjoyed about working at Witherup?
Well, I'm on the finance side of things. I've never, I don't know how to weld. I've never worked on the technical side of things, but I worked for a public accounting firm and got to know a lot of clients in the county. And Kevin Witherup and the family became one of my best clients, and I was helping them work transition to their succession plan, and they had some opportunities to do some other things. And the more I got to know them, and ended up joining them and put together a plan to carry it forward. They were the second generation, and the third generation was not in a position to take over the business. And they had a couple options there, and they could have shut the place down. They could have sold, and they could have sold the business to venture capitalists. Had opportunities there. But really what it boiled down to was, myself and Greg Piercy and Dean Bothorf were all familiar with the business, and we put together an agreement that was something that we could all, work to carry the business forward. And Greg and I both are graduates from Cranberry High School. We our employees are our neighbors. They're our family. They're our friends. They're the people we want to work with. That's good and bad. One of the field guys, I drive past his driveway every day on the way home, my brother. But I think it can be good or bad. And Greg has a fair amount of family that works for the business as well. But if you look back to the Witherup family, it was 4 family members that started the business, and then all of their family, for the most part, ran the business. So if you can manage that and still make everything work and set the feelings aside, it can really create a great work environment.
Yeah, my husband worked for family business, so I'm well aware of some of the challenges of that. But like you say, there are also rewards of it. I can't thank you enough for your willingness and investment in keeping a company here. We see it all the time as we see businesses aging or growing and wonder, oh, what's going to happen next? Because we are seeing some future generations that don't want to take ownership. You'll see the cover letter or cover story of our next newsletter about succession planning and a business where the next generation is stepping in with good planning. But it just means so much when we have people that are willing to invest, because it's not by accident that longtime businesses stay here. It's with great intention like that of you and the other owners that have invested. So thank you for your commitment to keeping business here. And you've stayed here and raised your family. I don't know if you, like me, thought you were leaving. I know I thought I was leaving. I thought, like every teenager, I'm out of here, going to someplace better and more exciting. And then here I am. I don't know what could be better and more exciting than what I do every day. Love being here in Venango County. How has it been? Is this what you expected in raising a family here locally?
Absolutely. I left for 10 years of my life and came back the year before my daughter started kindergarten. And this is where I belong. This is where I was born and raised, and this is where I belong. And it's where I want to stay. And with everything that's happened in the last year or two, Venango County is a very nice place to be. There's a lot of places in the world I would not want to be right now.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff that looked glamorous, when you were 20 years old, and all those nice places, those big cities with lots of fun things to do, I don't think they were very much fun last year.
Yeah. And I think we'd all agree that we want our kids to experience some of the best of other communities. They learn things and can bring that back to us. I'm sure both you and I brought back experiences from our brief times away that have helped inform us and make us better appreciate what's here. So glad to hear. I've been fortunate enough to meet your family, so I know that we love them to be here forever. So anything in your future there, Witherup, that you'd like to share with us? Anything else that you can round up? We have a little bit of time left, but we love to know what's in the future for you and Witherup.
We're here to stay. And what we've been doing, it has really worked. We're not looking to really change our business plan, or our strategy. I mean, we adjust as we have to, as industry standards change, but we're just looking to continue what we've been doing. There's a lot of customers, a lot of facilities not far from here that we don't work in, and we're always trying to get in and get established in those facilities. When we send our guys the whole way down to Tampa, Florida to work, and there's something in Karn City that we don't work at, it's kind of tough. We really want to get the local work for our guys so they don't have to travel as far and establish a good relationship. But I think that's what we would focus on in the near term, is just growing, our core customers and looking in, the relatively close area and try to establish some relationships with some of the facilities that we do not currently work in.
Yeah, well, we'd certainly like to help with that to the extent we can. I'm not sure that I know your customers, but it's one of the things that we've observed over probably the last 10 to 15 years that I've been here at the chamber, is that we went through a time where so many of our particularly manufacturing businesses were operating in a kind of insular fashion, where we lost track of what they were doing and how many people they employed and what kind of culture they had. And I'm just in the last few years seeing a new interest in really community involvement and getting, being your willingness to participate in something like this, so that we can make sure that people know what's going on. You never know where you get your next customer, right? Who knows who. So with even our listeners here, I know they're very, very well connected. So we hope that they'll share what they've learned today about Witherup Fabrication and what you hope to do in the future. Certainly would like to see you at least stay here, but grow to the extent that you'd like to. So if anyone that's listening or that might watch this later would like to reach out to you, can we send them your way? Can they call you or email you?
They can call me anytime. You can give them my cell phone. It's always on.
Great. Well, and I visited the website a little bit in preparation, and you've got a lot of information out there. So I would encourage everyone to visit the website, get to know more about Witherup. They're located. Let's talk just briefly about that. You're kind of located out in the middle of nowhere, right?
We are, if you think so, but really we're not too far from Interstate 79 and Interstate 80.
So accessible, but a feeling of privacy, perhaps.
Maybe the privacy, but just getting on the interstate, that's critical to what we do. It's if we were further up in Venango County or up in Warren County, it'd probably be, it would just add a lot of time to get into jobs.
Yeah.
We can be in Pittsburgh, we can be places pretty quick with the interstate close by.
Great. Yeah. So that's one of the great things about Venango County and our rural communities, is you really can live in a place that's beautiful, peaceful. Sure, if you want to go out for a walk at lunch, you are out where it's quiet and you're with nature, but you're so accessible to the highway, to the city if you want to get into see a sporting game or whatever. So, well, thank you for joining us today, Jason. I welcome the chance anytime if you have updates or we want to do follow up, but it's been good for me to get to know a little bit more about what you do, because we don't talk about your work that often when we're together. So it's great to hear what you do. I thank you. Please pass on to the others that work with you how very much we appreciate what you contribute to our local economy and to Venango County. So.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that.
So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll look out over the next couple of months of who we might invite to do our next CEO conversation. If there's somebody you'd like to hear from, let me or Tessa know, and we'll be happy to contact them. So we hope that we'll be able to continue with more and more in-person events, but even during the winter when it's maybe a little more challenging to get out, this is a great platform for us to use, and we hope that you'll join us here. So you will be able to view this recording on the Chamber's YouTube channel, and so share with others to listen in on this conversation. And it's going to be a hot one today, so everyone be really careful as you leave the comfort of your air conditioning and go outside, and we'll try to save some of this heat for those colder days I referenced. So have a great day, everyone. We'll see you soon.